What's up? How you going? My name's James. If you don't know me already, I'm a product designer and I like designing music devices, music instruments, music whatever. If you're into if you're into music and into design, you're in the right place. In this stream series, I've been designing what we're calling for now the live drum machine, which is a hardware drum machine, a digital device, but it's hardware. And I'm doing the CAD design, mechanical design here in SolidWorks. And yeah, in the last stream, I added, in the last streams, I added a Raspberry Pi in here because we're going to use the Raspberry Pi for this prototype, which is sort of a mid-fi prototype. It won't be used in the final product, but we're going to build this to start developing and testing. And yeah, I added some holes in the enclosure for the jacks. If I take this off transparent, you can see those holes there. So we have holes lining up with the jacks so that when everything's assembled, you'll be able to plug things into the Pi. And the plan here is that we'll have some piece of metal attached to the CPU here that also attaches to this big piece of metal, which is the top plate of the enclosure, and that'll allow us to cool the CPU by transferring the heat to the outside and using the top as basically a giant heatsink. Now I've got some placeholder jacks in there, I've got some knobs, but I don't have potentiometers, and I had some buttons here, some keyboard switches, which I broke in one of the last videos because I was rearranging the way that the skeleton model was set up. So I think in this one, since I started a bit late, I'm probably just going to try to add the buttons back in because I might not stream for that long today. Yeah, so I'm going to get into it, and I want to say hi to Elk, who is here in the stream as always. He's my most loyal fan and I love having him here. Thanks a lot for joining in again. And yeah, how you been, man? So I'm gonna get into my skeleton model and I'm gonna start sorting out these switches again. So I have put in something as a placeholder for my switch. I had a bunch of these kind of squares that represent my switches in this sketch, but I also had sketches that were representing the buttons, which I have here somewhere, and it was just too much. It was too much geometry in this sketch and it was getting really heavy and wasn't very responsive. So I'm gonna keep this sketch just for electrical components, and I'm gonna put things like knobs, actually, like these that I have here, I'll take them out. Anything that will be sort of on the outside of the device as controls, like the knobs, the button caps, those sorts of things will be in a separate sketch. So this sketch is just for components on PCBs. So no problem, Broham. Always a pleasure to keep you company. Lovely. Thanks for being here, man. Yeah, what's news with you? I've been checking your Instagram, but I can't remember what the last post was that I saw. But I love checking your Instagram because you're always buying new gear, which you know, I somewhat live vicariously through you, seeing you buying new stuff because I'm too scared to buy new stuff. Oh, I saw your post Wow, 64,000 views on one of your videos on YouTube. That's crazy, man. What happened? What was the deal with that? I'm just gonna move this display out of the way while I'm doing this. Not much, man. I'm done with buying for now. We're all dying. I'm gonna spend my money while I'm living. Yeah, fair, man. Oh, it's like I told you the other day when I got that. Oh shit! What did I just do? When I got that message, emergency message from the German government telling me there was a fire nearby, but it just said alert, emergency alert extreme. I was like, oh, see ya everybody. I'm dead. We're getting nuked. Actually, I wasn't meant to do that. But no, I feel ya. I mean, you own a house, right? So, if I were you, I would be buying gear as well. Um, that video where I scored a video for some saturation divers, and for some reason it hit the algorithm. True. Nice. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to like discredit the music at all. But probably a lot of people were watching for the saturation divers, I guess. But that is a cool video though, like, and the perfect kind of music for that kind of content. We got to figure out how to get you like in touch with some producers. I mean, not producers like music producers, like film producers, documentary producers, video game producers or something. Because, yeah, I think your music would be perfect. Pretty much the accomplished adulting aspect of my life. My home purchase was my biggest hurdle, and I handled that before 30. Oh, nice work, man. Congrats. Yeah, I'm still pretty behind on that one. 31 now. But I guess that's why I'm being a bit more conservative with buying gear, because, yeah, I need to buy somewhere to live. Yeah, dude. I mean, I have a family though, so home was critical. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, you make all the right moves, in my opinion. Okay, what am I doing? Alright, so I've got some switches back. Well, some sketches to represent switches. Gonna sort out the placement. Make all these lines between them equal, so they got equal spacing. How many did I do? Wait, I thought I did 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What the hell? Okay. I'm gonna make the middle of this aligned with the middle of the display. You're still doing stacked buttons. I don't, not vertically stacked on top of each other. I don't think that's gonna work. I might do like staggered, like 2 rows of 4. But actually, this is a topic I wanted to talk to you about the other day and I forgot, but I'll bring it up in a sec. My mind is struggling to comprehend how to use that, lol. You mean how to use the stacked buttons? Or this layout? I mean, this layout at the moment doesn't really mean anything. The stacked buttons, from the outside, it would just look like a row of buttons. Like you wouldn't know that they're stacked. It'd just be like small buttons with small spacing between them. Make that 18 and I'll make it like 20 mil from the edge of the display image, just as a placeholder for now. Maybe I'll put it a bit further. So, what I wanted to ask you about, wait, I suppose I've never encountered that before, or maybe I have, but I haven't disassembled the hardware. Yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty complicated solution, like mechanical solution, that I doubt people are actually doing that. I don't think it's worth it, to be honest. And like when I was looking at it, it didn't really even seem possible. Like with the space, the device would have to be really tall to stack them. But something I wanted to ask you about. Yeah, I need to. These I need to link to. Do I put this in this sketch? Yeah, sorry. I was gonna ask. We were talking a little bit about whether or not the display should be oriented this way or vertically, because we were like, if it was vertical, then you could have these buttons down the left side, and then you would have one button per track on an 8-track sort of piano roll kind of thing. Like you imagine each row is like a yeah, it's, I don't know why I explained that again. It's each row is a track and each column is like a bar or something. So like you're looking at the timing and you're programming in a bar of music. Each column is a beat, sorry, and then there'd be a bar is like the full display. Oriented like a door rather than a tracker. Yeah, exactly. But then we were thinking, well, maybe it could be like a tracker. Like maybe we could keep it in this orientation with these buttons along the bottom, and they could be the individual tracks, and you would sequence it from bottom to top rather than top to bottom. So it would be like, imagine like Guitar Hero, how you have like the notes coming towards you like this, and then they get to here and it plays. I don't know if any other hardware does that, because it's not really like a door or like a tracker, because the tracker goes from the top down. So maybe it's confusing, but then we were like, well, everybody's played Guitar Hero, you know? Well, a lot of people have played Guitar Hero, I should say. You are asking a guy who loves trackers if I want a tracker interface? Well, yeah, but a tracker, but flipped upside down. So the notes play from the bottom up rather than from the top down. You feel me? I need to see that in theory. So, have you played Guitar Hero before? Like this. But I'm used to reading from the top down. Yeah. Feel ya. But so imagine it's like this. Like this is moving towards you, and when these get to here, they play. If that makes sense. Maybe I can find a video of Guitar Hero. Gotta watch an ad. Of course, it's an Apple ad. I do have YouTube Premium. I'm just not logged in on this browser. Okay, so see this? How the notes are coming from the top down to the bottom, and they play when it's at the bottom. Feel me? Now, obviously, this is a toy, a video game, but we're like, would that work? Well, maybe, or it could just be a static view. Like it could just be that the notes are not moving; they just stay. But yeah, not really sure yet. Yeah, don't know. It could also be like a tracker where it's from the top down if it's static. The thing is, like, if you have a row of buttons here and you have the vertical columns as the tracks, then these buttons could be like the drum pads as well. If you know what I mean? Like you could actually play it along like that. Like, I don't know if it's a lot more inconvenient to play it on a strip instead of like a grid. But yeah, it could be that you could actually play them like that, and then you could clearly see what each pad is on the screen. Because you could have like a little picture or something that's like, this is a kick, this is a snare, this is hats and whatever. Oh wait, you said I actually think it would work. It would give you a view of what's coming next before it hits. I live play, so it would potentially be really useful. Yeah, that would be badass actually. That's what we were thinking. We were like, at first we were like, maybe that's dumb, but then I was like, maybe it is good. Not sure yet. I think this is one of those topics that we need to make a really lo-fi prototype and just try it out. But I mean, you can only go so lo-fi when you need a display. Holy shit, what is going on? Yeah, that would be badass actually. I'd be willing to try it. Trackers make more sense to me, and the layout sounds like it would pack the info I need that my Roland does not provide. Sounds like it would pack the info. Yeah, I think that like the goal is we want to make this thing as intuitive as possible to play. Like, people know how to use DAWs and people know how to use trackers, so those people will know how to use devices like that. But just like a person who doesn't know all that stuff already, um, maybe somebody who's a drummer or a guitarist or something, um, and they want to get into this kind of stuff, they've got a lot to learn. And also like it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. Um, there's always room for innovation and for making things more intuitive. So, maybe there's something there. The only way we'll know is by trying it out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're gonna make some prototypes and try it out. Yeah. But so the other guys are working on that at the moment. Like everything's happening in parallel. So it might look like what that I'm just designing the device without trying anything before. But no, like I'm setting up sort of the architecture of the model in a way that can be adjusted a lot. But just considering the things that we know for sure, like that there's going to be a Raspberry Pi in there for now. It's going to be a big metal box. It's going to have buttons and knobs. But Jan at the moment is trying to get his hands on a display. And so he can start prototyping with that. And we can start trying some UI layouts. And we'll probably just plug a MIDI controller in or something, so we can start testing out some software on there and actually see it on a display of the same size, so we can check how it's going to work. Doing full color? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think we'll just go for like basically something like a tablet display, like a 7-inch 720p tablet display. Probably like TFT or something. So yeah, it'll be full color and like reasonably good quality, like high resolution, I guess. Like 720 isn't that high, but it's high enough for a device like this. Can you repurpose an old tablet for testing? Yeah, we can do that too. Yeah. The thing is, like, Jan is already flying along with the operating system and the software, so I think like it's almost to the point where he can start running it on the Pi anyway. And like plugging a display into the Pi is not too hard either. So I think he's probably pretty close. He's a gangster. It's crazy. Like I didn't think anybody else had been doing any work yet. And yeah, we had this meeting the other day and he's like, yeah, I've got like an operating system built. Like, oh shit. Okay. Um Waiting on you, bro. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. No, I think like if anything, uh, if anything more of the usability stuff is what we're waiting on, which is partly me and partly Yessa. Um, yeah, we just need to figure out how this thing's gonna actually work, or how you're gonna use it. Am I actually deselecting these lines or what? How are parts availability looking? That's a good question. Well, yeah, one of the hard topics that we had in our meeting was basically me trying to urge them not to use anything that we don't absolutely need, like use the least number of microcontrollers as possible, because yeah, I'm really worried about, like, I mean, it's hard enough for a small startup like Mod to get parts, but just like 4 guys making a DIY device, super hard. And we need to be really careful that we don't choose things that go end of life in a year or so. So yeah, I don't know. We haven't chosen any of it, parts yet. So don't know what availability will be like. At least with like these key, the key switches and stuff, there's sort of interchangeable models. Same thing with the potentiometers. So it should be okay. Raspberry Pi is a pain in the ass to source, but we're only going to use it in the prototyping stage anyway, and we'll have to try to find something something that we can reliably purchase when we choose the final CPU. Do you think Pi 5 will be available before you begin the assembly? I hope so. We talked about that a little bit as well in the meeting. Yeah, I think that would be the best case, because pies are really easy to buy usually, like, except for the last 2 years. Normally they're really easy to buy for the lay person, which is us for now. And there's so much support out there, so many accessories available and all that kind of stuff, so it is the most logical choice. It's just we would need a compute module. We can't use like a full size board. We can, but like ideally we won't. And the Pi 4 compute module I don't think is ever going to be back. So yeah, I really hope that there'll be a Pi 5 compute module soon, because that would make life a lot easier. And we're also pretty excited to see what they come up with. Like, I would imagine the next Pi will be pretty impressive compared to the current one. I saw on TechLinked the other day that ARM, like the company that designs the Cortex CPUs and stuff used in Pis, they just came up with a few new designs. I think it was like the A720 or 750 or something, and the A550 or 520. But 2 new Cortex designs that that are apparently like 15% faster. Oh, was it like 40% faster and like 15% more power efficient, which is crazy because ARM CPUs are already super power efficient, and to make them more powerful and then less power hungry is crazy. It's so good. I've never used a Pi before. but I have heard great things about them. I'm not that tech savvy. If I'm honest, I haven't really used Pis that much either. Like I've never programmed something for Pi. I've like plugged a Pi in and installed Linux on it and used it as a computer, but I've never like done much more than that. Yeah, I mean, they're yeah, they're they are really good things. Like it's just a little computer that you can do a lot of things with, and yeah, very accessible. Lots of good documentation available for them. So yeah, they're pretty dope. My experience is just installing Arch Linux on a netbook. Yeah, I'm not like much of a Linux user, so don't think I'm like some pro or something. I don't really know what I'm talking about when it comes to Linux. I've used Ubuntu and Linux Mint before. That's about it. Alright, I need to get my switch model, so let me just dig through my files here while it's off screen. Okay, we're back. Oops. What do you think about if we do this sort of tracker layout and we have 8 tracks as columns and there's 8 buttons under the screen? Do you reckon it would be weird to play drums like drum pads as a row of 8 buttons? Or do you think it would be better to have them in like a 4x2 grid? It's too late, you are now the authority. I didn't see that one. No, I'm definitely not the authority. I would say Jan is a decent authority on Linux. As far as I know, anyway, I'm no expert, so I don't know how to judge. Hard to tell, honestly. I will say that I probably won't play live on the Surface. Do you mean if it's in a line or just regardless of whether it's a line or a grid? Regardless. Okay. Yeah, I mean, well, I'll say this. I hope that we can make it like so intuitive that it makes you want to occasionally try. I play on my MP controller with drum pads. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Hmm. Okay, got one switch in. Gonna copy with mates. This is an awesome thing in SolidWorks. You can do this copy with mates. So I'm gonna just repeat my parallel, like my plane parallel mates, and repeat the height, which is, you know, the height of the PCB. And then I just have to click this dot twice to give it its XY coordinates. Press OK, and then I can do another one. Click this twice, bang bang. Click this twice. It's going a little bit slow, but that's okay. Boom. Okay, switches are in. Now I just need to put the keycaps, which are keycaps. Yeah. I'm getting better at remembering to switch back to the screen capture. All right. I just need to do the same thing. How'd your Rust session turn out? To be honest, it was pretty rough because there was like 270 people on the server, and you have to choose somewhere on the map to live and to build a base, and the area where we chose was like pretty intense. So yeah, we spent a lot of time just getting farmed. Like people just like completely owning us, you know. But that's how it is sometimes. You just gotta roll with it. Gonna be on the struggle bus. Yeah, definitely. But it settles down a bit after the first day. So things are going a lot more smoothly now. Although we have been raided 3 times, I think. Like people have come and blown a hole in the side of the base with a rocket and stolen everything. But you build back. I'm debating on picking up Diablo 4, but I'm unsure. This is a good segue into something I wanted to mention before. I was going to say my friends have been playing a bit of Diablo 4 as well, because one of my mates is he works at Blizzard, not on Diablo but on World of Warcraft. And I was thinking like I should try and pester him about what your options are for getting some music on games. I don't think that I'd be able to get your music on World of Warcraft or Diablo. Your dad works at Nintendo. Oh, come on, man. Oh, jokes. But yeah, he might have an idea of like what you could do to get in touch with some game devs. I mean, he probably has some ideas just in general about how to get work with game devs, because he started as a graphic designer and was working in this little small town where I grew up with like 10,000 people, and working as a sign writer, like somebody who designs, plastic signs for businesses and stuff. And he just decided, I'm going to learn how to do 3D sculpting and 3D painting, and just built like a portfolio online. It started entering some competitions and started getting recognized. And then somebody from Blizzard approached him and offered him a job. He's like, hell yeah. And now he's moved out to Irvine in California. Man, I remember WoW, haven't played in years. It's a good thing. Good thing you haven't played in years. It's not a game you want to. I mean, it's very cool, and I'm very proud of my friend for working there. But God, I've seen WoW destroy some lives. It's very time consuming. By the way, check it out. We have buttons back. The buttons are back. Told you they were just on a short holiday. Welcome back, buttons. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, indeed. Man, that is amazing. I think you were talking about Pat, my friend. Yeah, it is amazing, dude. Like, it's crazy. This kid from a small town, just decided to do this out of a passion, and basically got headhunted, which is pretty crazy. Like, a small town in the middle of nowhere in Australia with 10,000 people now works for one of the biggest video games in the world. Yeah, me too, bro. Me too. I think you were meant about WoW ruining lives. Yeah. When my friends go in and out of playing WoW, and when they're playing WoW, I just stop playing video games because I have no one to play with, and I don't want to play WoW. What's the plan for the free real estate on the front of the unit? Like this front or the top front? Wait a minute. I'm just gonna check this off my list. That the buttons are back. So the other things I need to do are to model the pots and a board-to-board connector. I don't think I'll have time to do the pots today, so I might start planning the board-to-board connector, but I might wrap up soon as well. The front of the unit, like, I don't know if you mean this front. This front will not have anything, I guess, but this, like the top front, still not really sure yet. Like, we don't know. Okay. Yeah, man, that's a good story. I'm super dope that they scoped him out and picked him up. It will be a while before I have anything to share. I released a jam yesterday that got attention and is getting shared, so fingers crossed I start getting a good portfolio going. I mean, you've had heaps of stuff to share, man. Like, yeah, you've shared heaps of stuff. So I think you can already start like picking out your favorites, and you've already got a decent portfolio, I would say. Yeah. You can see is my hands. Thanks, dude. Yeah, so I was asking if you mean this front or the top front. Fucking hell. I was just talking about how I'm getting better at switching. Obviously, I'm not. Top front, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we don't exactly know what's needed on the device yet. Like we need to do all this user testing to figure out how it's going to work and everything. Then we can decide how many buttons, switches, faders, scroll wheels, mod wheels, whatever. We don't know what we need yet. But once we figure out what we need, we'll figure out where to place it. And yeah, then we can figure out how big the device needs to be too, because this is just an arbitrary size. So throw a velocity sensitive pad or two on the front to record velocity. Yeah, we're thinking about that, like having some drum pads. Yeah, still haven't figured it out yet. How we want something velocity sensitive. We definitely want some way to program in velocity, and hopefully not having to program it, but like do it naturally. That would be my recommendation if you are planning on having it be playable. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Something like that, for sure. I just wanted to go back to what you said about the portfolio. I think like the nature of the kinds of music that you make that I think would be suitable for what am I trying to say? For video games. Like a lot of the stuff you've made is kind of like ambient. It's almost like an ambient loop, like a long ambient loop. Like it, you could loop it every 5 minutes or so, or two, whatever, however long they are. I think those clips that you've already made of just like experimenting with sound design kind of stuff, it's very much like a soundscape. So yeah, I would say that like it's already like stuff that people would listen to and go, I could imagine that in a game, you know. 100% is stuff to throw up. In the background while you're focusing on other tasks. Yeah, I'm imagining it's something to have in a 3D world while you're like exploring some crazy 3D environment, you know? Alright, I need to put in a header. So if you imagine this is the Raspberry Pi, we got Ethernet, jack, USB, USB, aux, HDMI, HDMI, USB-C, CPU, and then this is the 20-pin header. I could just put another 20-pin header on this main PCB, and then have another PCB with two sockets on it that they plug into. But what I really like doing with a display is having physical interaction elements around the display, because then their function can be like described on the display. So I'm going to want to have stuff along this side, and it might get a little bit close here. So I might actually like move this header over here a bit, and the PCB can be like not like that, like this. Shit. Sorry about the swearing. Something like this. A little zigzag. Oops. Yeah, it's going to be a little zigzag PCB board-to-board connector. I might just put a reference sketch for a 40 pin header. What would the dimensions be? Weird number, but okay. 48.26. Because that's because it's multiples of 2.56, which should be this distance. No, 2.54. Whoops. Yeah, 2.54 is the common pin header spacing. Okay, so I'm going to put in a reference sketch up here for pin headers. .54 by 48.26. I could just go 2.54 times 20. Ooh. Or not. Maybe it needs to be 19. Yeah, that makes sense, because I'm starting on the first one. Yeah, okay. That's gonna be my, what is it called? Pin header top with an underscore to indicate that it's like a reference sketch. PCB top. Get that one, make it equal to this one, and that one equal to that one. And I can hide it. Then I just put some center lines in here so I can dimension them from each other. So I'll make the center to center distance. I don't know, 10 millimeters. Is that too close? Maybe. And they can be 20 mil offset. And the PCB will need to be bigger. Put that there. Do the same thing here. I need to put screw holes in this PCB too. I'm going to screw it to the enclosure. This maybe doesn't make sense what I'm doing here, but I'm going to put, oh Jesus. I'm going to put a second PCB above. Let me just show it in here. Almost at an hour. I think I might call it in a sec when I finish this. Wrong one. So I have my main PCB here and the Raspberry Pi PCB, And I'm gonna make another of these pin headers here on this PCB, and they're both gonna plug up into another PCB up here, a little one that just joins the two together. But that little one is gonna screw up into this top plate so that it stays there. And then if I want to take the pi out, I can unscrew the pi and go unplug it, get another one if I need to replace it or something, plug it back in, put the screws in. If I need to replace this main PCB, I can take out the screws and unplug it, and the little connector PCB will stay in here unless that breaks and I need to replace it too. But yeah, it kind of makes the whole thing a bit modular in a way. If something breaks, it can be replaced. That is looking good. Yeah, I reckon. I mean, don't want to talk myself up too much, you know, but I reckon it's not a bad idea. Not the worst idea I've had. So this blue lines is the shape of the PCB that I'm going to have connected to the top plate, which is going to have the little sockets in it. And I need some space to put screw holes so that it can screw up into the top plate. I'm going to make all these distances equal so it has the same distance from the ends of the headers, and I can make that, I don't know, 4 millimeters or something. And I want to do the same thing going from here to here and here to here and here to here and here to here. I'll probably put the screw holes, I don't know where actually. I don't want to put a lot of screws in it. Probably just in the four corners, like one there, one there, one there, one there. Maybe. I think that would work. I'll make this like 5 mil. Maybe actually I'll put these lines in the middle, just so I have the corners free for screw holes. Yeah, then like could put a screw hole here, 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 and here. And I haven't even put any screw holes in the main PCB yet, so I can work on that next time too. I won't worry about screw holes for now because I'm going to wrap it up, but I might quickly make a part that resembles this second PCB because that looks like a little bit of fun. Loading. Okay, so I'm going to make a copy of this PCB, save as new. PCB2, save the PC, I have to name it here. PCB2, save as copy and open. Oh, it already exists. Why? Ah, right. Because I have the vertical PCB. Okay, so this is 3. Whew. PCB count be climbing. PCB 3. Okay. I have clicked this don't show again this session. Yeah, I mean, just don't show it again ever. Alright. Delete all these features and that sketch. Show the PCB top, where is it? Gonna edit the sketch, delete all of this. Get these lines. Boom. There we go, and it's at the wrong height. Of course, because I haven't given a height for it yet. Need to do that in my PCB right sketch. And hello. Come on, give me the point. Don't really know what height this needs to be yet. I'm going to make the thickness the same as the other one. And I don't know, I'll give it an arbitrary height from the top of the enclosure, I guess. Like, I don't know, 3 millimeters. That'll do. And I need to show PCB right. Sketch from this vertex to this one. Boom. Hide that. Hide that. Save. Assembly. What's updating? Nothing should need to be updating. Insert PCB3 at the origin. Boom. Okay, got a PCB floating in space. But that is the one that is going to be the socket for these two boards. So yeah, in the next one I'll probably add some PCB holes. Writing this on my list. PCB holes. And I'll probably fillet the corners of this PCB as well. Don't like having straight corners on anything that's going to be cut out, because yeah, they'll always look a bit rough if you round them. It's one continuous movement. This is especially true with a laser cutter. Laser cutters don't like going in one direction and then stopping instantly and then instantly going in another direction. They're like going around a corner. Makes your parts look better too, and yeah, anyway. To be continued in the next one. Yeah, I think that's it for now. All right. Quick one, short and sweet. Still was pretty long actually, but you know. Hell yeah, you're making good progress, bro. I do feel like making progress. It is slow, but you know, when you're only taking little bites out of it, like 1 hour bites, go slow, but I'm getting somewhere. I feel it moving along. And nothing's broken in the model right now. I've caught up on everything that was broken, fixed it, so now it's back to creating. Catch you next stream, and I hope you have a good night. You too, man. Thanks once again for joining in. Really appreciate it. And if anyone's watching this after, go and check out Elk on his YouTube as well, because he's got some really cool music on there and videos and stuff, and does lots of compression diving. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, always a pleasure. Me too, man. Yeah, okay. Just my last track. I wear headphones. It's called Bone Runner. Oh, and wear headphones. Okay, yeah, cool. Go check out Bone Runner and wear headphones. Oh, hey, JK jokey. Sorry, I'm just about to wrap up. But thanks for joining. But yeah, I'm wrapping up now. Sorry, man. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for. Hope you had a good one. Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah. A nice short and sweet one, but it was good. Okay. Sorry, I'm rambling. Yeah, for anyone of you who's watching this later, thank you so much for clicking. And yeah, if you like this kind of stuff, would really appreciate if you subscribe or follow, depending on where you're watching, and give a like if you can, because apparently that helps. And it seems like a nice thing to do. So if you feel like it, give it a like. And yeah, follow me at any of these social media places, and you'll see more stuff to come. Cool. Thanks again, and enjoy your day. And I'll see you on the next one.